fellow collectors, and welcome to Long's Toys. Today we are taking a look at an entry in the Galactic Odyssey collection. This is the Paradron Medics. So just a little bit of backstory here. I don't know if this technically counts as Generation Selects or if it's just part of the War for Cybertron trilogy. Obviously, that is written here on the front, so I'm kind of leaning towards that. But now I can't remember. I think the Generation Selects might also say that. I don't remember offhand. But basically what these are, as a way to get some more figures out there, because they kind of wanted to move quickly from Earthrise into Kingdom, because let's be honest, Earthrise has been mostly retools of characters we had in Siege or straight up repaints. I mean, I've been here for it, don't get me wrong, I've had a really good time with Earthrise, but I feel like they feel like Kingdom's much more exciting and they want to hurry up and get to that. So they've been doing a lot of random online exclusives and things like that. The Galactic Odyssey collection is an Amazon exclusive. There's 5 sets in total, and if we open this up here, you can see the planets on the top. Now this, I will say, is actually pretty cool. They have this really neat little like galactic space map drawn here on the inside of the box. So you can see there's Micron, there's Dominus, Botropolis, Biosphera, and Paradron. If I remember correctly, Paradron is the planet from Season 3 of G1 that Sandstorm was from, I think. They landed on there and it was a peaceful planet, and then the Decepticons were like, whoop, free eats, and they started taking all the Energon, and then the Autobots showed up to stop them, etc., etc. Good episode. Definitely check it out. I think it's called Fight or Flee, if I'm not mistaken. In any case, there are 5 planets here, and so there are going to be 5 sets like this. So as you can see here, we have Earthrise Ratchet, and then we have Lifeline, which is a green repaint of RC. I don't really remember either of these characters being in that episode that I just mentioned, but for whatever reason, they decided to do this like medic 2-pack. That's fine. Now, I don't remember exactly which ones go to which planet, except obviously Micron is a Micromaster set, which is coming out. This was one of the sets, obviously, for Paradron. Like I said, Micron was a Micromaster set. One of the sets was the Autobot clones being reissued, because the Decepticon clones were a 2-pack at Target, so the Autobot clones are a 2-pack at Amazon. And then there's that 2-pack of the like Skylinks. They're just 2 Micromaster base Transformers repainted in Skylinks like colors to be associated with him somehow. And then the last one is, I think, that Barricade and Punch Counter Punch 2-pack. So that makes up the 5 that are all going to be Amazon exclusive in this Galactic Odyssey. So just a quick little bit of backstory on that. So this is my first set. I'm probably not going to get the Autobot clones because I already have them. Still haven't decided what I'm doing about Barricade and Punch Counter Punch because that still irks me. But the other 2 I definitely have pre-ordered, so I don't know exactly when they're coming out. But hey, this review is about this set, so let's go ahead and talk about this set. So like I said, Ratchet and I keep wanting to call him Greenlight. I don't know why. It's Lifeline, like the G.I. Joe. So we can take this out, and you can see the directions are inside here. You also get this, because I'm knocking literally everything over, you get this cool little, like, Paradron, almost like info sheet, if you can see that. And it's obviously in different languages here. But it just tells you pacifist planet, mostly cities, Allied, coordinates Zone 3, District 3418. Known hazards, none. Then it just says Paradron Autobot. So it's kind of neat. It's just kind of like a cool little, almost like a bio sheet for the planet. I think that's actually kind of cool. So I like that. Of course, here are the directions. They really shouldn't transform any differently than Ironhide and RC that we've already seen, but we'll take a look. So I'm going to go ahead and put these guys back in here. Well, temporarily. I'm going to get them all out of the packaging here, and we'll take a closer look. Alright, so here are Earthrise, Ratchet, and Lifeline out of the packaging, and I know exactly what you're thinking. Medics on a pacifist planet. Let's make sure they have plenty of firepower and a riot shield. I know, it doesn't really make any sense, but I'm going to pretend this is maybe a gurney for small Legend class Autobots. Or even smaller, maybe Micromasters. How about that? How about Micromasters? It could be a little Micromaster gurney. I don't know. I'm trying to come up with something because, of course, it doesn't make any sense for him to have a riot shield, but he needs it for his transformation because it is the entire roof of his car. You can go ahead and pop this out, and you could either pretend that that's like a bunch of, cannons to fire, or you could just pretend it's maybe some kind of thruster. Maybe you could ride it as a surfboard. Can we surfboard this? Oh, hold on. There it is. He needs to get somewhere fast. Rocket surfboard. That's how I want my doctor to take care of me. Let's be honest. Anyway, so there's his riot shield / rocket surfboard. Putting that off to the side. Over here, I like the color green. I think it's a nice shade of green. I hate this giant backpack, and for whatever reason, hers will not stay pegged in. So I'm just going to go ahead and take this off if I can remember how to do it. I probably can't. Here we go. That's right. This unpegs there. Great. I hate this thing. It's terrible. Throw that off to the side. She looks okay. I would say it's going to be the exact same problems I had with the first RC mold if you watched my review of that. Yeah. It's just RC doesn't really work as an action figure in reality because she has no heft to her body, therefore none of it can really transform into anything. She'll always just be a shell former. But if you just want an RC, or in this case, Lifeline action figure, she looks fine. I really do like the color green. I think the head sculpt looks good. The face is painted nicely. Nice Autobot symbol there on the chest. Head can go from side to side. I think it has... This is a really tight ball joint on mine. I think, doesn't it have up and down movement? Maybe not. Maybe it is just side to side. So you can definitely look side to side. You have a hinge here in the shoulder as well as a rotation. Bicep swivel 90 degrees. Maybe slightly more than 90 degrees in the elbow there. The wrist can kind of move from side to side, but that's about it. You have a waist swivel. You have a hinge. And then kick front, kick a little bit to the back, kick out to the side. You have a thigh swivel there. Then you kind of have like a second thigh swivel because of how it transforms, which is a little weird. Especially because it's one of those joints that like wants to pop out when you're rotating it around. And then it looks like she's got a double jointed knee, as you can see there. And then we have rock, and I think there's a tilt here, isn't there? Yeah, there's a tilt for the ankle. So, I mean, like I said, if you just want a RC / Lifeline action figure, she's fine. We'll get into the transformation in a little bit, but I don't really think it's that great. But, yeah. She looks good. Not too bad. Ratchet's pretty much exactly the same as Ironhide. I think the head sculpt looks good. They did a nice job there. Nice blue eyes, silver painted face like the head crest. Side to side, up and down. He's definitely got up and down. You also have this kind of movement here, so you kind of want to make sure that's all the way in. Then you have rotation here and a hinge. You have a bicep swivel, 90 degrees in the elbow. Wrist swivel, waist swivel there. You can kick out to the side, kick all the way back. He has no butt flap, so he can kick everywhere he wants. Thigh swivel there. Knee joint, 90 degrees. Ankle tilt, no problem whatsoever. He looks good. I like him. I really do. I wish he had some kind of Autobot symbol somewhere over here on the chest. Or maybe on one of the shoulders. Or honestly, I would have been okay if he had the like trademark like ambulance red crosses on his shoulders. I would have really liked that. I just feel like he needs the little bit of red here is nice and here, but he needs a little bit more. He just needs a little bit more red. It's just not quite enough. He's just a little too boring in that regard. But overall, really nice articulation. I think the robot mode looks good. If we bring in Siege Ratchet real quick, he was a Walgreens exclusive. You can see how much more stark white this guy is. And I don't know if mine's yellowed over time, but I kind of feel like he was always a little bit off-white. This guy is crazy bright white. But he does have more red. You can see he's definitely got more pops of red, which I think looks good. So I don't know. I can't decide which look I like better. I really like the white, but I wish it had a little bit more red. But this guy, like next to him, looks super off-white. Like it's kind of crazy to me now how off-white this guy looks. And now I'm wondering, like, was he this white? Was he always this off-white? But he does have these accessories, like the little ratchet, or wrench, I guess this is, and this piece here. You should be able to use these with this ratchet if you'd like, because it's basically the same mold, so you could plug that in the back. You could have him use this wrench. Should be able to peg in. No? There it goes. So if you want to bring those accessories over, because I do like those accessories, I think it's cool, especially with him being a medic, or a mechanic, essentially. I think it's cool to have those little accessories, so you can bring those over if you like. It's a really tight fit there. I can't get over how, I think that he was always this color. I do. I don't think mine yellowed over time, because honestly, if you take him out of the picture and you just kind of look at this one, it doesn't look as bad. It's only when you put the two next to each other you can really see how not that white this guy is. It's kind of funny. Plus, I was never a huge fan of the siege weathering, so I'm kind of glad that that's gone. But yeah, he was cool. I do really like the head sculpt on this guy. And again, the Autobot symbol, he's got a little bit of red. This guy just needs a little something. But he's pretty cool. Alright, we'll put him off to the side. Take these accessories out of here. And then just for fun, here is Earthrise Ironhide. You can see it's basically the same mold. There's really not. And I do think it's funny with his gun. I really do think this was molded in another color and then painted white, as opposed to just being molded out of white. I could be wrong. I don't know. The more I look at it, I could be wrong. But at first, it really just looked like the paint was really glopped on. But maybe I'm wrong. Maybe this is molded out of white. I can't really tell. But it looks good. It's the same as Ironhide's gun. As you can clearly see, they are the same. And this is essentially the exact same mold, just with a different head sculpt and painted differently. And of course, we have the Riot Shield, aka Gurney, aka Rocket Surfboard. And then if we want to do another comparison real quick with Lifeline and RC, again, you can see that it is exactly the same mold, just different color scheme. So, nothing super different there. I think the gun is exactly the same. Didn't even really change anything there. But it's a nice little 2-pack. I'm really, honestly, I'll be honest, I bought it for Ratchet. I did not really need a second RC mold, but I do like the color scheme. So if I'm just going to leave her in robot mode the whole time, this looks fine, and that's okay. But I was really most excited for Ratchet. Let's go ahead. We'll do Lifeline's transformation first. We'll just get that out of the way. Alright, so starting with Lifeline. I guess I should show off real quick that if you have this back piece, which I honestly hate this thing. It's just a giant shell piece, but they want to point out that there's pegs here on the back of it. So if you want to peg her in and pretend that she's riding it, I mean, let's be honest, it's nowhere near as cool as a rocket surfboard, but she can stand on that for some reason. They like pointing that out. Now, that backpack thing is supposed to be able to peg into the back here to give her an even bulkier backpack, which, I'll be honest, I almost always take it off anyway just because I hate it. It's way too big. It makes her too top-heavy. With RC, I didn't have this problem, but these two pegs here are supposed to peg into these two peg slots on the back, and I cannot get them to stay. It's almost like they're not the right size. They're too snug, or they don't want to match up. I don't know what I'm doing wrong, but they don't want to stay very well at all. So you have to put this back on for the transformation. So you have these two kind of channels right there, and you just want to go ahead and slide this in. This piece here kind of rocks back, and it sits in that little channel right there. So you just pop that in like so, and now that's back on there. And you're supposed to be able to peg this in, but it just really doesn't want any part of it. I don't understand why, but whatever. So there's a giant goofy backpack if for some reason you want that. I'm glad they at least gave us the option to take it off. But you're going to spin this around. Oh, and I just popped this off, so that's great. We're off to a great start. I'm pretty sure this just pops right back in. There we go. Hopefully that's right. So you're going to unfold all of the shell formery bits. Pop this all out. This is going to flip around like this. Do the same on the other side. Take the gun out of her hand. This is going to kind of flip up like so. They want you to spin the head around 180 degrees. I don't really think it matters, but I think they're just desperately grasping at anything that doesn't make it look like the entire robot is going to be underneath. So you flip this part out, flip these out, like so. Flip that out like that. And then basically you can bring this down. These have to kind of tuck underneath here. And then you just connect this all together. And of course this is falling out again because I don't know what is wrong, but this will not stay connected. I really don't know why. I didn't have this much trouble with the RC one. All right, I'm just going to get this connected back on there. Okay, so at this point I was able to get it all connected. It was really a pain though. I don't know why that backpack connection on this, and maybe it's just mine, hopefully it's just mine. It's the white piece underneath here really does not want to stay connected in. I don't know why. So at this point you're going to rock this forward. Now you can see that there's this massive pylon right here, and that needs to go into the giant hole on her back. So you're going to bring this down until that lines up. And make sure that I am doing that correctly. This will probably cause the entire backpack to fall apart again. Why can't I get you in there? Maybe I don't have this bent down correctly. I think that should be able to go in there. I'm not really sure why. Alright, I'll have to futz with that as well. As you can see, transformation for this figure is a lot of fun. Why won't you go in? Is that as far as it? No, it goes in farther than that. Again, I didn't have these problems. When I was transforming RC, I thought the transformation was very cheap and lazy, but I didn't have trouble with it. There we go. This one I have so much more trouble with. Okay, so there you go. Now that's pegged in. So you're just going to kind of tuck the arms in. I think these go straight down. Like so. Okay. Oh, and her wheel came off? Was that always off? I'm going to have to look around for that. Apparently there's a wheel inside here that popped off somewhere. So I'm assuming that happened while I was transforming it, but I don't know. Maybe she only ever had 3 wheels. Right here at that second thigh cut, you're going to want to spin this around. And then you're going to use the double jointed knees to just kind of tuck this in as best you can. There's nothing to hold it in place. Doesn't peg in anywhere. You just hide everything as much as you can under the shell, and that's it. You can go ahead and peg the gun underneath there in the front, and that's it. Now again, I like the shade of green, but it's just a massive shell former that's really not at all fun to transform, and apparently it's missing a wheel. So I'm going to have to go take a look for that. Hopefully it's around and I can find it. I didn't, I would rather it pop off than I just didn't get a third wheel, but I guess we'll see. It still rolls decently, and it looks okay. It's just massively lazy. Underneath is just so lazy. But if you just look at it like this, it looks okay. It's just, I'm tired of RC figures being shell formers, but I really think it's because of the way they designed her robot mode so petite there's no other way to make her a Transformer, in my opinion. So there it is. Alright, so moving on to a much better figure. We have Ratchet. We're going to take his accessories out of his hands. We will need this a little bit later on. We can go ahead and pop these out. This will flip open like so. This can actually get stored inside by pegging in right there. And then I believe you want to push that in, but we'll check that out in a minute. So just put this off to the side as it stands. Coming to the robot himself, you're going to open this up, rotate the head inside, then kind of not close it all the way, but you can close it a little bit. You're going to unhook this piece from the back. This will kind of peg out a little bit so that you can rotate it around, but before you do that, you're probably going to want to rotate the arms up like so, and then you can actually peg them together like this, and so just kind of straighten that all out. Then that's going to rotate 180 degrees. Then you can push this piece back up and that will peg in there like so. This you're going to kind of bring out to the side, not all the way, just kind of about 90 degrees, so that you can flip out these pieces here from inside the leg. So flip them out. Sometimes it's just hard to grab onto the right piece, but there we go. Flip that out. Then we're going to peg the legs together like so. This will kind of come up and rest down there like that. This will close in around these and peg in together. This will peg in like that. And at this point, it's looking pretty much like Siege, but we do have the large piece here to peg in. So yeah, I was correct. This wants to be up so that it can fit in that little hole right there. These two pegs right here will peg on the top, and then these two pegs here will peg into what were the shoulder pads. So you want to bring this down and make sure everything lines up. Oh, I'm sorry. These pieces have to go down or else, and also it makes sense if you have this piece up where it's supposed to be. But as you push these down, it'll allow this to compress down as far as it's supposed to go. And then you can close that up there like so. And there you have the ambulance mode. For the most part, I think it looks pretty good. I think it's a little bit more successful than Ironhide, because this is the same color now. With Ironhide, this was black and everything else was red, so it seemed out of place. And I don't have this quite pegged down as much as I should, but since this is white, I feel like it's a little bit more in keeping. I still think it's a little weird that you have a clear window and then this is the same window, but now it's painted white. So part of the window is not clear. It would be one thing if like this whole one was clear, but then this one was painted white, not a big deal. But the fact that the same window cut in half is different, I think is a little weird. I still don't love the feet just hanging off the bat. I think they could have done a little bit something better than that. If you have this whole shell former piece, you could have had it just extend maybe and cover the feet, something like that. Just having them hang off the back like that is not the best. But it could be worse. Ultimately, I do like it. And again, I feel like I don't have it 100% transformed correctly because there's still a couple things that aren't lining up. But yeah, honestly, for the most part, it's a pretty decent little ambulance. I think it's pretty cool. I like the Autobot symbol on the top there. I think that looks pretty good. And he actually has all 4 wheels. I went back and looked. I don't think that Lifeline had 4 wheels in the box. Something I'm noticing with a lot of people that Hasbro is doing now, you just have wheels missing. I've had at least 2 in the past, different lines of Power the Primes, Ironhide, and I think animated Soundwave. No, not animated, Cyberverse. I think it was a Cyberverse Soundwave. Just come packed missing a wheel. I've had friends with similar problems. So at least this guy has all 4 of his wheels. But yeah, overall, I think the ambulance is pretty decent. At the end of the day, I think it's an okay set. I like Ratchet. I think he needs a little bit more red in the robot mode, or at least he needs an Autobot symbol somewhere, or maybe if they would have given him the red crosses on the shoulders, he just needs a little bit more of the accent color to make him pop. He's definitely a very bright, stark white, which I like. When I compared him to Siege Ratchet, you could really see the difference. I'm kind of bummed he doesn't come with the cool little accessories like Siege Ratchet did, but you can just borrow them from Siege Ratchet. They do work with him to give him the little wrench and the little backpack and all that kind of stuff, some of his tools for doing his maintenance. As far as Lifeline goes, I still don't like this mold. I think the Thrilling 30 RC was much better. I think the transformation was much better on that. She came with more accessories, and just overall in general, I think that was a better toy. If you just want to keep this in action figure mode and just pull a Netflix Transformer show and just never transform this character, then I think you'll be absolutely fine. Because as an action figure, she's got good articulation. I like the color green. I think just as a figure, it's fine. Although I will say, I'm starting to get some weird, like, plastic ripped up here on the swivel. So I don't know if that was a problem when I took it out of the package and I just didn't notice it. Also, she never had a wheel, so she's only ever had 3 wheels, which is kind of a bummer. But I gotta be honest, if something like that's gonna happen, I'm glad it happened to the figure that I care least about. Obviously, I like Ratchet a lot. That's the reason I bought the set. This figure is not great. The fact that I own 2 of it, I'm kind of upset at myself for buying RC since I knew I was going to get this. Originally, I wasn't going to, but then for completionist sake, I bought RC. I don't know. I feel bad harping on it. I really do. Just leave it in robot mode, and it's fine. And it looks okay, and the color green's nice, and she can just be a medic and never transform, and that's fine. I do think it's weird that robot medic has a riot shield, but I'm just going to pretend it's a small gurney for Micromasters, and that's how that's going to... Or, of course, hashtag rocket-powered surfboard, let's be honest. But, yeah, so it's a good set. I think it's $40 because it's basically just 2 deluxes. It's the only way to get Earthrise Ratchet. So if you want Earthrise Ratchet, you're going to have to take Lifeline along with him, is what I was trying to say. See, this figure's just so bad, I can't even say the words. But in any case, I know I'm ragging on it a lot, and I probably should be not that. It's such a lazy transformation. It's just a giant shell. You can literally have the entire car mode just hang off her back, and she could still be in robot mode. They just didn't try to integrate the pieces at all. I think at least with the Thrilling 30 RC, her legs flipped around, and, like, her calves formed the back, like, dynamic of the car, like the curve of the car. It was part of the body of the car. Here it's just, here's a giant rectangle to hide the robot underneath. It's just lazy. And they don't even peg in. I mean, if you're going to do that, at least have it peg in and be secure. Now it's just tuck it underneath as best you can. Okay, that's it. So at the end of the day, I think Ratchet's great. Wish he had a little bit more red in the robot mode. Transformation's fine. Ambulance mode, I think, works a little better than Ironhide because he has a kind of a more cohesive color scheme, so I think he's pretty good. I think Lifeline is lame, but if you're going to just leave it in robot mode and never transform it, it's okay. Decent articulation. I do like the color green. I've said that a few times. The paint scheme on her, I think, looks good. It's just not a good figure. I mean, it's just not. I mean, there have been other shell formers in the past that have been a little bit more functional. And this one I even have the additional problems of the missing wheel, the shredded leg, and the backpack just not connecting the way it's supposed to. At least with my first RC, that backpack connected and it snapped in place the way it was supposed to. So while it was disappointing, it was functional. This one's not even either. I'm hoping it's just mine. I'm hoping it's just a QC issue and they're not all like this, and that's fine. But yeah, at the end of the day, you probably want Earthrise Ratchet, so you're going to pick this up, and you're going to deal with also owning this. You're going to just put her in robot mode and leave her. So I'm done harping on this. I apologize. I've been too negative in this video, and I do apologize. Trying to accentuate what's good about these figures, because I definitely do still think you should pick this setup. I know that sounds counterintuitive to what I've been going on about this whole time. I think Earthrise Ratchet is great. I think if you just leave this in robot mode, it'll be fine. So I would definitely still pick up the set. I don't know if it's even available or if there's going to be a sale or it's Amazon exclusive, so it might not be around forever. I definitely would not pay more than retail price for this set. If you can't get this, then just get yourself a Siege Ratchet and call it a day, because that figure's pretty good as well. And if I couldn't get this, I would just make do with him. I would not pay over retail for this set. Let me know what you guys think. I want to hear from you guys. Am I being too hard on this? I probably am, and I apologize. But let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Please like, share, and subscribe. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. I know it was a bit of a roller coaster, but hopefully you enjoyed the video. And as always, thank you so much for watching.